You're from Tasmania, Australia. What's it like growing up in a different country?
It is different. Where I'm from like a small town of it's about 15,000 people. So that was exciting for me to be able to move to America. It was tough at first, not really knowing anyone and not really knowing just small things of like if I'm walking on the sidewalk in Australia, we're always like keep left. It was just like small, like little just random things you never really think about.
I've never thought about that.
Oh wow,
you mentioned the injuries at the beginning of the season. How'd you come together as a unit and push through that and figure out what you're doing on the court?
The guys did a really good job at kind of that next man up mentality, and no one really felt sorry for ourselves or anything like that. It was how can we win games, and that's just been the approach every single day. Early on especially was a challenge where I'm still trying to figure out my life in the US. I give kind of credit to all the coaching staff and my teammates that have been able to make my transition over here super easy and kind of just make me feel so welcome over it.
They've really made it a family-like environment
that's
for you.
The biggest emphasis with the staff is kind of loving each other and really having that close, like, personal relationship.
To shape the future? Introducing the incredible partnership between 502 Circle and the Robert Alexander Center for Recovery. Together, we are revolutionizing the way we support, heal, and uplift each other. This partnership isn't just about recovery, it's about transformation. It's about providing the healing and love needed to break free from addiction and shape a brighter future.
I would definitely recommend somebody for the Robert Alexander Center. Just based off my own tour and own experience and seeing what you guys have, you guys care. And that's probably the biggest thing dealing with people who deal with substance abuse. So I recommend somebody too.
Join us in this powerful movement. Be a part of the change. Together, we can shape the future, one life at a time.
Welcome back to the Athlete Unscripted podcast with Sydney Depp. Today we have a 6'2" guard for Louisville men's basketball, Reyne Smith. How's it going, Reyne?
Great.
Good?
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so speaking of basketball, let's get this out of the way. A record-breaking week for you.
Yeah.
You literally made it rain.
Yeah.
Punny.
Yeah.
Threes in your most recent game against SMU in Dallas, so not even in the yum. 10 threes in one game.
Yeah, it's a lot. It was fun. You kind of don't really go into a game thinking you're making 10, but at the same time, I have the confidence that I could do it every game, but at the same time, it's hard to do, and it was really cool to be able to set a record for a program like Louisville.
Yes, yeah, it breaks Louisville's single game record for most threes made. Tied for third most ACC player of all time. And so I wanted to ask, when during that game did it click for you? Like, when did you say, hey, I'm on fire. Like, I'm going to do this?
So I made like my first 4 in the first half, and then like I felt good, but a lot of it was just kind of in rhythm and kind of expected to make it. Then there's a play where Chucky got the steal and kicked it across, and I just kind of shot it in transition, and then that went down, and I was like, all right, I'm feeling pretty good, and then just kind of shot a few more and made some like step back that went in, and I was like, all right, like right now it just doesn't feel like I can miss.
Yeah, I mean, really. So you are close friends with Chucky.
Yep.
And so what was it like both of you breaking records for Louisville that night?
I mean, it's awesome. I think the excitement we have for each other's success is really special, and could say that for the whole team. We just want each other to succeed and win together, and to be able to have 2 records that night was really special, and it was fun.
Yeah, so you're most threes and he's most assists.
Yep.
So I saw those pictures of you all holding up the pieces of paper. Are you keeping that forever?
No, I've already lost.
What?
I've already lost it. Yeah.
No way.
I put it down and just kind of got changed and left to get onto the bus and
Wow.
just left it there.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's funny. No, so you're not very sentimental then?
No.
Okay.
No, not really.
Okay, you just live in the moment.
Yeah, I just kind of move on from it now. It's in the past, but
That's a good mindset to have. I mean, like, you had your moment, but there's still games to be played. There's still more records to be broken. I mean, get better every game, get better every day.
Yeah, like definitely kind of embrace that record night and enjoyed it for the time. And now you kind of got to turn the page and get ready for our next game and kind of get back in the gym and try and do it all over again.
Yeah, I love it. So this is the first time that this season that Louisville Basketball, you're in the top 25 AP poll. Yep. How's that feel to have a number by the name?
It's cool. It's something that you don't really try and get caught into a lot because at the end of the day, it doesn't really mean too much. And it's definitely exciting to get that national exposure again on Louisville, which is where this program belongs. And so it's definitely exciting for the fans and the community of Louisville. And there's still a lot more we need to do. We still got however many games we have left in the year. So a ranking in the middle of the year doesn't really change what our main focus is, but it's definitely cool to get that national exposure again.
Oh, yeah. So with the team, with Coach PK, tell the story of you and Coach PK. You were originally committed to Winthrop, where he was. He moved to College of Charleston. That's where you went, and then you came here with him. What's so great about your all's relationship? What has really pushed you to follow him where he goes?
Yeah, it's been a wild kind of journey for me, kind of getting under-recruited out of Australia. I wasn't highly noticed or anything, and a lot of it was during COVID as well, which kind of put a limit on recruiting, especially international. And yeah, I got a call it started off with Brian Cloman. He would text me, and as it kind of progressed, I then started talking to PK, and you could kind of feel his energy like straight away. Like you kind of knew what type of person he was and how he was like just in like the Zoom meetings we had. I never got to meet him in person because of COVID and everything. They couldn't travel like overseas, and it was crazy. There was one of like my first Zoom calls with him. He would then tell me there was two different things. If I committed, I wouldn't have to call him coach, because in Australia we don't really call our coaches coach.
No way.
Like I'd call my coaches by like a nickname or something like that. So
in the past, what nicknames did you call your coaches?
So one of my head coaches was Adam Capon, and we just called him Capes. So when I would like refer to Capes to PK, he's like kind of found it strange how like Australians and stuff don't call him coach, and he's like, if you come, you won't have to do that. So I love it. That's great. I still call him PK, and then the other one was if I committed, he'd do a backflip into the pool. And sure enough, about a month or two later, I called him saying I was committing, and he then just gave Johnny the phone, his son, and flipped the camera, and sure enough went into the pool like fully clothed and backflipped into there.
Oh my
And that's
gosh.
where I'm like, I don't know what I'm getting myself into, but I love it, and kind of that energy was easy to follow.
Wow, his energy is infectious.
Yeah.
And I feel like Louisville as a fan base and as a city can feel it. And I mean, obviously winning helps and, success in the program, but with it being his first year here at Louisville, he's brought in this new energy. I mean, videos of him going crazy over Louisville, running around campus, telling students to come to the game, driving in his car, doing L's up.
Yeah.
Like that blows my mind. And you can just feel his energy. So how does that like impact the team, and how does that make you feel to know that your coach is so dedicated and so invested in this program?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. It's why I followed him kind of everywhere. And like that energy, it's not, especially now he's kind of more on a national stage. People might think it's a little bit of a stunt, but that's just who he is. Like, it's how he's always been. There hasn't been a day where I've left a practice and thought that he didn't bring energy or seemed a little off. So as a player, it's so easy to kind of feed off that, because like you have days where you don't really feel like it, you're tired, you might not feel well, whatever, but as soon as you get onto that court, it's like none of that matters. It's time to go, and like you kind of see what he does every single day, and as a player you're like, well, if my head coach can run around and stuff like that. It's like there's no reason why I shouldn't. So
Exactly.
it's easy to kind of feed off his energy every single day.
Yeah. And I mean, you said back in September, you said to Card Nation, you said show up early, be loud, and expect this team to play as hard as they can every single night. And I'm sure having such a great leader that shows up the best he can every night, shows up early and is loud, you know, I'm sure that helps you all. So do you think that you all have done that as a team?
Yeah, I think so. And I think early on the season we were kind of figuring things out, from injuries to losing games, and kind of figuring out roles for each other. And there was a few games where we played pretty soft, and you don't really want to be in a film session after those games. And we kind of learnt that quick and took that right approach into seeing it on film, and we fixed it. And then kind of seeing now as we kind of win some games, it's more just the effort side of things, and then missing shots will happen, but we can control our effort. So that's the main thing that like the coaches kind of emphasize on.
Yeah, that's good. And you mentioned the injuries at the beginning of the season. Your teammates, and the season had already started, and you all had to hit reset after those injuries. How has the team come together? And you all say power of the unit. How did you come together as a unit and push through that and figure out what you're doing on the court?
Yeah, like it's hard to see one of your teammates go down, especially with like a season-ending injury. Like you spend so much time on the court with him, off the court, like, and it just kind of sucks to see that happen to him. And once it happened, then we kind of pretty much had a whole new team where there was some lineups we weren't used to, and just different roles that we weren't really used to yet because we haven't practiced. We practiced with a full team, and the guys did a really good job at kind of that next man up mentality and having that right approach of understanding that it's going to be a new look, but that's the reality of it. And we just kind of bought into that, and no one really felt sorry for ourselves or anything like that. It was how can we win games, and that's just been the approach every single day.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've built relationships with other guys now that you're playing with them a little bit more than who were the starting five at the beginning of the season. So you said you're close with Chucky, you're close with
just about everyone.
Everybody?
Yeah. Like,
okay, what's
really
the dynamics like? What is your all's relationships like?
It's fun. It's like you kind of go in every single day into the facility, and you're kind of excited to go in because you just enjoy being around everyone so much, which is really rare for a lot of teams, and it's kind of really special. And the staff especially do their research on guys and how they are as people, more so players. So there's just great dudes in the program, and you kind of love being around every single one. And as I said earlier, everyone wants to see each other succeed more than themselves. So that's rare for a lot of teams, and it's kind of special that we got that as a group. That's
so good. That's great. So you guys are like a family.
Yeah, literally.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
So that's great. Well, I'm going to just like backtrack a little bit. You're from Tasmania, Australia. Yeah. What's that like? What's it like growing up in a different country and then coming here to the United States? What's the difference?
Yeah, it is different. Where I'm from like a small town of, there's about 15,000 people. Not much really happens there. There's like a semi-pro basketball team there that I kind of grew up around, and that's kind of really all I had to do there. There was literally nothing else that would happen, and I kind of got stuck around sports my whole life, and then eventually I moved to Canberra, to the Australian Institute of Sport for a year and a half before making the move to the US, which was something I wanted to do when I was about 14 or 15. So that was exciting for me to be able to move to America, and it was tough at first, not really knowing anyone and not really knowing just small things of like if I'm walking on the sidewalk in Australia, we're always like, keep left. So we drive on the left-hand side. And even like walking, we'd go to our left. So there's times where like I'd go to my left and kind of almost bump into someone.
Wow.
So that was just like small, like little just random things you never really think about.
I've never thought about that.
Oh wow, like this is different, and like you kind of feel like not at home in a way.
Yeah.
So especially like moving early on was tough, but a lot of Australia is kind of influenced by the US. So I kind of knew a lot about America before moving, which helped, but yeah, it was definitely challenging at first.
Yeah. So you said you really got into sports growing up. You played more than just basketball, correct?
Yeah. So I played cricket and Australian rules football were my first two sports I played. I picked up basketball, would have been first grade, but before that it was cricket and AFL, as we call it. So yeah, I mean, a lot of kind of, I'd say my toughness is from playing football, where it's kind of like almost like soccer, where you can run around everywhere, but you can pick up the ball, kick it, and can get tackled and hit and everything. So you kind of learn to toughen up pretty young. Like if you get hit, you get knocked down, then your parents are just on the sideline screaming, get back up. So yeah, I think a lot of kind of who I am now is like playing those different sports, and yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun.
So how did you land on basketball?
It was mainly the people around it. Like I really enjoyed playing different sports. I was deciding, was kind of around 7th grade, if I wanted to do football or play basketball, and it kind of came down to what did I enjoy most, like being around, and all my closest friends played basketball, and I just kind of wanted to stay around that, and ended up picking basketball for full-time sport.
And when did you realize I could do this at a higher level? I want to go to college and play basketball.
It was around, I was like 14 or 15, where we play in these like national tournaments. So we play against like other states in Australia, and I played really well in that. And then kind of talking to my head coach at the time, we kind of discussed how it could be a real thing if I just stay on track and work hard. And eventually, just as time goes on, I kind of kept progressing and kind of getting more national exposure and making Australian teams back home. And then, yeah, saw myself getting recruited, which was really cool to kind of see all happen.
And I read somewhere, or I saw somewhere on the internet, you said that you always had to play up an age group.
Mm-hmm.
Were you mad about that?
Not really. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
It started off when I was pretty much as soon as I started playing basketball. I don't know. I just kind of picked things up really quick, and I was ahead of kids my age when I started. And they told me I wasn't allowed to play with kids my age. I had to go move up, and when I got to about like 12 or 13 is when I started practicing with like our men's local team. And when I got to like 13, 14, that's when I like really started playing in the men's league, as well as like I'd play my own age, like kind of more randomly, just if they needed numbers in that age group. But a lot of times, like I've kind of played against grown men and a lot of like semi-pros that will get paid to play and things like that. So I kind of learned quickly how to play with people older, which definitely helped my development.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how did that push you in your skills and how you played? How did that challenge you and push you to grow? Yeah,
like it wasn't easy at first. Like you just get bumped around and stuff, because like I wasn't the biggest kid ever. I was small, skinny. So we kind of get picked on, but kind of led to just me having to figure it out, which kind of helps me to where I am now. So it's definitely, I think, progressed my development as a player, just playing against those older, literally grown men that, weren't like taking it easy on me either. So yeah, I mean, it definitely helped my development as a player.
Wow. Okay, so growing up, who did you look up to, athletically or someone in your family?
Mm-hmm. There's like definitely my mom. she was kind of the biggest influence on all my sports, and she'd drive me all around the state to different tournaments. She'd rebound for me, drive me to all practices, different things. And yeah, so I mean, without her, I wouldn't be able to be sitting here today. So she's definitely kind of my best influence. And as far as like players go, my first favorite player was Kevin Durant. Like I had all his shoes kind of
Oh, wow.
as I was a kid. And then as I kind of started to figure out who I was as a player, then I kind of really watched like Steph Curry, and that's really sparked a huge interest in like shooting, which is
I was gonna say,
yeah.
is that who you model your game play by?
Yeah, like it was definitely like when I was younger, kind of figuring out that I could really shoot. There was like I would just like watch videos of him and kind of see if I can try and find like him like working out to see what he does when he practices. So yeah, he definitely kind of helped kind of shape how I play.
That's so good. So your family, you mentioned your mom. You have 2 brothers, correct? You're the middle child. What are your relationships like with them?
It's really good. Like I've got super close relationship with both of them. And it's fun kind of being in the middle. I was able to kind of pick sides on who I'd team up against. So if my younger brother would want to go annoy my older brother, I'd kind of go help my younger brother out. Or if me and my older brother might attack our younger brother, but I always found myself in the middle where neither of them could really come at me. So
Oh, no.
yeah, so it was fun, but growing up with 3 boys in the family, there was fights, and
Oh, I'm sure.
especially if we go outside and play basketball or anything like that, it would usually end up someone fighting, someone in tears. So yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun kind of growing up with 2 brothers.
Can you share a funny story from your childhood that shows what your all's relationship's like? Like maybe a story of playing outside and it ending in tears?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the first time I could like beat my older brother in one-on-one where he was mad. I kind of like remember it real vividly, but he would always just kind of like bully me as like in basketball, like he just bumped me, then go let up because I was just so little.
Being the older brother.
Yeah, and then once I could like kind of hold my own a little bit, then I started to beat him, and he was not happy at all. And then I'd always just kind of pick on my younger brother, and he never really could beat me, so that would kind of end up in tears with me picking on him. But
Oh, no.
yeah, it was definitely competitive, but yeah, we wouldn't take it easy on each other.
Yeah. And so your brothers and your mom, your family's over in Australia.
Yeah.
They're not here
Yeah.
in the U.S. What's that like? How is it hard being away from them?
Yeah, I think early on especially was a challenge where I'm still trying to figure out my life in the US, trying to kind of make relationships and friends and figure things out. And you definitely kind of miss that aspect of just being able to go somewhere and be at home. But over time, it kind of helped because I moved away from home when I was 17 already. So I was kind of used to living away from family, but at the same time, I'm across the world now. It's not as simple as just jumping on a flight and heading home. But yeah, I mean, it was tough at first, but I mean, I give kind of credit to all the coaching staff and my teammates that have been able to make my transition over here super easy and kind of just make me feel so welcome over here.
That's so good. They've really made it a family-like environment
Yeah, like
for
that's
you.
the biggest emphasis with the staff is kind of loving each other and really having that close, like, personal relationship.
Yeah, did they host you for, like, Thanksgiving and
Yep.
little breaks that you all have?
Yeah. So any, like, break, Christmas, if I can't go anywhere, or, like, Thanksgiving, we'd be together. And, like, as soon as I landed in Charleston my freshman year, like, as soon as I got from the airport, I went straight to PK's house to say hello and meet all his family.
That's
and
awesome.
stuff. So, like, he would always bring us over to his house, and we got a good relationship with, like, his wife, daughters, son, and that's the same with kind of everyone on staff. We kind of build a relationship with their kids, wives, whatever, and that's really special where you kind of get to know your coaches just, like, off the court and feels like the relationship's just more personal.
It feels like you're a part of their family.
Yeah,
And
literally.
Coach PK's kids, I mean, you've got little Johnny,
Yeah.
right, coming out for the national anthem every game.
Yeah.
And do you kind of treat him like a little brother?
Yeah, definitely. Like, he's always around. As soon as he finishes school, he's over at the facility. Like, I've been able to see him, well, it's my 4th year being with him, so he's grown up probably a little too quick, where he's learning what college guys are talking about and things like that. So it's funny, and PK will always mention that. Like, he always like, I appreciate you taking care of him, even though he's probably learning some things he shouldn't. But he's definitely like a little brother, and kind of treat him like that too. So that relationship's been really special for me.
Yeah, that is really sweet. Well, what's something nobody probably knows about you? One last kicker question.
Oh,
It'll make you think.
probably from the Rubik's Cube. That was like always been like my hidden talent. But I think one thing I've kind of made probably a little more public would be kind of playing golf. As
Okay.
something like a little different. I picked up after last season finished, where I play all spring and summer and everything kind of before the season started.
What do you shoot?
I've gotten into the 80s now.
Okay.
So like I started off, would have been April. So it was something I picked up more recently, but I kind of fell in love with it as something outside of basketball to do that was active and just definitely a mental challenge, because I sucked at it. So that kind of made me mad, and tried to get as good as possible kind of over the summer. But I definitely love doing that outside of basketball.
Yeah, it's a fun sport because it's relaxing almost. It's not intense in terms of physical competition on the basketball court, but mentally it's a big competition.
Yeah, mentally it's not relaxing at all. And the thing is, there's no one else to blame but yourself.
That is
the
true.
ball's not moving anywhere. And so that's what I love most about it, is kind of something that's just like a mental battle that you're kind of fighting against yourself. So it's been a lot of fun kind of picking that up more recently.
Yeah, who do you golf with?
I golf with Carson, Graham, like some of the managers. I took Corin Johnson out one time. That wasn't pretty, but yeah, then like Kyle Zunick, one of the grad assistants, and I've been out with Peyton Seaver a lot too. So just kind of try and bring in different guys out, and made some friends on the golf team that will kind of go into their facility, especially now it's been snowing, that can go hit some balls in any day off. So
Practice your swing.
Yeah.
That's so good. And practice your putt.
Yeah, definitely got to practice that.
Which one's better? What's your favorite club to...
Probably my driver.
Your driver?
Yeah.
So you like that first hit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And after that, I don't really know what will happen, but
I guess we'll see.
I'll figure it out.
Well, hopefully in the off season you'll get some time out there on the course and perfect your putt.
Yeah, that's the goal. That probably be my main focus over the next off season.
That's so good. Well, you've still got a lot of season to play, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys do. I mean, you're on fire.
Yeah.
You're doing really well, and you guys are just loving what you do.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I think sparked it all, is just kind of loving every single day, whether things are good, things are bad. It's just love being in the facility with the guys and just figuring it out.
That's so great. Well, thank you so much for joining me, and thanks for watching Athlete Unscripted with Sydney Deb. We will see you next time.